ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम Dear friends, we have just completed the 38th shloka. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramaiha vidyate. That is a very powerful statement. That is, jnana is the only purifying thing. Purifying in what sense? Purifying because it will rid you of all the karma phala. Karma phala is what is impurity. And this jnanam is the only thing which will rid you of that impurity. So that is why jnanena sadrusham pavitram na iha vidyate. So nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. That's the second line said, tat swayam yoga samsiddhaha kalena atmani vindati. That particular jnanam, a person who is there, who is in the path of this karma yoga, yoga samsiddhaha, yogena samskrutaha, that is one who has been purified by this karma yoga, kalena vindati. Kalena means in course of time. In course of time, because this karma yoga alone is not adequate for jnana prapti. Karma yoga, along with this Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, along with this internal discipline and whatnot, with all these things, then he gets this jnana. So that is what we have seen. Kalena atmani vindati. That is in course of time. Then he is talking about the second type of person who is there in that jnana nishta. In the next shloka, that is 39th shloka, Krishna is talking about a person who is there in that jnana nishta. Let us read the shloka. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparas sanyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. So in the earlier shloka we saw the word kalena. Kalena means in course of time. So in this shloka he is saying, Krishna is saying achirena. Achirena means without any delay. Achirena means kshipram, quickly. How quickly means how? Jnanena. So when you are in the karma nishta, the course is rather slow, because karma nishta is only giving you chitta shuddhi. After chitta shuddhi, you have to do Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You have to go to your guru, do all that, and then undergo that internal discipline and whatnot. Here he is talking about that internal discipline. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Who will attain jnanam? Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Shraddhavan, one who has that shraddha. Then tat paraha. Tat paraha means one who realizes that shraddha is the supreme path. There is no other way except shraddha. He has to show that devotion. That devotion is the most important thing. Tat paraha. Tadeva param. That is what he should think. That is, shraddha is the ultimate thing one has to follow. Then sanyaten, not only shraddha, jnanam is the only. Tatparaha, here we can refer to jnanam. Jnanam is my only goal. There is no other goal. Jnanam is my only goal. So he is fixed in that goal. Then sanyatendriyaha. Sanyatani indriyani yasya saha. That is one whose indriyas, one whose senses are under control. So that is he has undergone that yama niyama asana. So that sort of spiritual exercises he has undergone. Then jnanam labdhva param shantim. Param shantim means that supreme shanti. Jnanam labdhva, having attained jnanam. Param shantim, that is supreme shantim. Achirena adhigacchati. One attains achirena. That is without any delay. One attains shraddha. So here in this shloka we see there are three things which are told for as tools for jnanam. That is, shraddha is one thing. Tatparatvam. Tatparatvam is just total dedication to that. Total dedication. Tatparaha. Tatparaha is totally dedicated to that particular objective. Then sanyatendriyaha. That jitendriyatvam. These three things, they are three factors which are told for jnanam. So in fact Anandagiri says they are the antaranga sadhana. The earlier things which he told, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, pranipata, pariprashna, seva, all these things are bahiranga sadhanas. Bahiranga means they are external. Antaranga is where the spiritual discipline is something which one has to undergo within oneself. Pranipata, Pariprashna and all these things, they are external. He may be doing it out of hypocrisy also. He may appear outwardly appear very, very sincere, but inwardly he may be laughing at his guru. So that sort of situation can be there. But this Shraddha is something which is Shraddha. How is it defined, Shraddha in Vedanta? Shraddha is defined in Vedanta as the Guru Upadishta Vedanta Vakyeshu Nischita Buddhihi Shraddha. Guru Upadishta Vedanta Vakyeshu Nischita Buddhihi. Athava Vishwasaha. Some books also say Vishwasaha Shraddha. Some books say Nischita Buddhihi Shraddha. That is, the words of Vedanta which have been explained to you by the Guru, you should have some faith, some trust in that. And what is this trust? So this is where, this is a point which is rather objectionable to a modern mind. If you ask a modern man to believe in one thing, he will not try to believe. Because every modern mind, the tendency is to appreciate everything rationally. When something is not rational, when you say, no, you believe in this, modern mind will not believe. So this is where it's a question of Shraddha. Shraddha, we have to say, but Vedanta says Shraddha is required. Then how to look at it? This Shraddha is one thing which Vedanta is saying it is a compulsory thing for attaining moksha. Whereas a modern mind, it says, no, I want an analytical mind. I want to see what it is. I want to rationally understand. So how to explain? The mind is used to physically, suppose you go to a laboratory. There are certain things, you do an experiment. And then you see with your own eyes, you see that something is done and then you add something to the other and something else happens. Or in some other experiment, you see something. So like that, mind is used to see certain things, observe certain things. But here in Vedanta, you are not doing something with the mind, you are also observing the mind itself. You have to suspend the mind itself. You see, you are only seeing a drushyam. That is, whatever is drushyam, you are observing. In all physical sciences, it is the mind which is the master. The mind is the master, which is seeing all things, which is analyzing all things, which is observing. The mind is the seer. But in the case of Vedanta, mind is no longer the seer. Mind itself is illumined by something else. Mind itself is something, mind itself is considered a jada. Though the Tarkikas, of course, Tarkikas means the logicians. There is one school of thought in Indian philosophy that is called Tarkika, Tarka. So this Tarkikas and also Vaisheshikas, they say that Jnana Adhikaranam Atma, this Adhigyanam, that is knowledge, is produced in this mind. So, but Vedanta says Jnanam is not produced in the mind is only a reflective medium for that supreme consciousness. That is what Vedanta says. So the mind itself has to be suspended. Mind itself is something which is seen. Mind is no longer the seer. So that is the case here. So in which case you have to suspend the mind and you have to have some amount of Shraddha. There are certain, for example, there are some yogic powers of people. We see so many yogis who are having some yogic powers. So what are these powers? So these powers are attained how? By Shraddha only. Suppose a person is reciting, he is doing some meditation of a particular mantra and he attains some powers. So if this man starts with a feeling, okay, I am doing this mantra, I am reciting this mantra, I do not know, I am not very sure whether I will get the result or not. It's not like that. It's not like giving some cash and getting a ticket from the counter. You are giving a cash, that man will certainly give you the ticket. It's not like that. It is something where your mind itself is in operation. Your mind has to be the medium. Where the medium itself is not present, obviously the result will not come. So there are people who have attained so many siddhis, and then if you have doubt in that, then obviously you cannot attain that thing. We are told about that old story of Guru and Shishya. Guru told one mantra to the Shishya. Guru said they both came to the river. They were just walking along and then they just came to a river. So then Guru said, there is a mantra. If you recite the mantra and walk, you can walk on the river. So the Guru told the mantra to the Shishya. And the student, he very faithfully and with a great amount of Shraddha, he recited that and then he walked down the river. The Guru himself did not have adequate faith. When he put his foot in the water, he sunk into the water. So like that,
that is what is Shraddha. Shraddha is a thing where the mind, which is the medium, that medium has to be, that medium itself becomes a seen thing, a drushyam. A medium itself is something which is in the laboratory. So that is why the Shraddha is something which has to be understood in that sense. Otherwise, you cannot explain various yogic powers and all that. Yogic powers are, we may not be having these yogic powers, but there are several people who are having these yogic powers. There are several people who are having many, say, Devatanugraha. Devatanugraha means they do this particular aradhana, so and so, upasana of so and so Ganesha, upasana of some Kali, and they are able to see your face and then tell various things. They are able to do, predict, not only predict so many things, they are having certain powers, these upasakas, etc. That is because, after all, that I feel it is only the power of the individual consciousness. After all, Antahkarana, what is Antahkarana? Antahkarana is nothing but Antahkarana Vachinnam Chaitanyam. This consciousness which looks as though delimited by this Antahkarana, the mind, is what is Antahkarana. And then this Antahkarana, he is very sincerely hooking on. He is hooking on or plugging on to another aspect of Antahkarana which is there in cosmic, in the cosmos. In the cosmos, in that consciousness, he is hooking on to a particular thing, and then he wants to derive some, say, power from that. After all, on this so-called Maya Vachinnam Chaitanyam, Ishvara itself is a power which is manifesting in that Brahman. Brahman has nothing to do with this Maya. It is only Maya is a power which is manifesting in that. So power means a Shakti, which this man also, this Upasaka is getting. This Upasaka is not interested in Brahmajnana. This Upasaka is interested in some Shaktis. So this man hooks on to a particular aspect. Okay, some goddess Saraswati. So and then he will do, say Saraswati Upasana. And then in history we come across so many stories of poets and all that who were Saraswati Upasakas, and then who were just reciting, say, kavyas after kavyas. Say one poet was confined in, say, some, say, cell, and then overnight he composed a huge work. So like that we come across, these are the upasakas who get special powers. So like that, we can't say simply because we do not have that, we cannot say there is no question of Shraddha. I want to look at it everything in a rational manner. Rational manner is necessary so long as you are observing external things, where you are supposed to look inwards. The mind itself becomes the object to be looked at. So then you have to go suspend the mind and you have to slightly go above who am I. So that level we have to see. We have to just see the consciousness interacting with some other higher consciousness and then trying to derive some power. So something like, so that is the picture. But here of course this is not a question of power. Saddhavan labhate jnanam. Here we are not talking about the siddhis and powers and whatnot. Siddhi and power, I just gave an example only to show that this sort of suspension of mind is very much required. Suspension of mind means look at the mind also as an object. Look at the mind, you are not looking with the help of the mind, you are looking at the mind. So mind itself is the drishyam here. So from that point of view, I told about this, say this siddhis and whatnot. So but then here jnanam means there is no question of siddhi or anything. You are trying to equate yourself with that supreme consciousness. Even Maya Vachinnam Chaitanyam also is gone, and then you are equating with yourself with that supreme Brahman. So here Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tat paraha sanyata indriyaha. The words are very, very simple. Let us see this bhashyam. Yena ekantena jnana praptir bhavati sa upaya upadishyate. So here he says ekantena jnana praptir bhavati. Ekantena means unfailingly. Ekantena. Ekanta does not mean staying alone or anything. Anaikantikatvam, anaikantika nishreyasa phalam. So we heard this word, we hear these words. Ekantena means without any doubt, unfailingly, jnana praptihi bhavati sa upayaha upadishyate. That upaya, that particular strategy, upaya means a strategy. Upaya and upeya, there is what is called upeya. Upeya means that which is to be attained by a strategy. Upaya is a strategy. So that upaya upadishyate means that is being told. Shraddhavan iti. Shraddhavan, Shraddhaluhu, labhate jnanam, Shraddhalutvepi,
श्रद्धालुत्वेपि
भवति कश्चित् मन्दप्रस्थानः अतः आह. So he is saying Shraddhaluhu, Shraddhavan, Shraddhaluhu. Shraddhavan and Shraddhalu are one and the same, only pratyaya different. That is one who is having that required amount of Shraddha. Labhate Jnanam. Then says Shraddhalutvepi bhavati kaschit mandaprasthanaha. So though a person is slightly, he is having that Shraddha, but he may be a very slow moving person. Mandaprasthanaha. Prasthanam means movement. Mandaprasthanaha means slow movement. One who is very, very slow. He may be having some Shraddha, but he, okay, I will do tomorrow, I will see Mandaprasthanaha, or maybe his understanding, his grasping power is slow. Mandaprasthanaha also can mean his mind, the grasping power is slow. Then Mandaprasthanaha ataha tatparaha Gurupasadanadau Abhiyuktaha Jnanalabdhi upaye Shraddhavan Tatparaha Tatparopi Ajitendriyasyat Ityataha Sanyatendriyaha. Okay, Sanyatendriyaha will come again. Tatparaha means he is one who is devoted in this Guru Upasadanam. Guru Upasadanam means Guru plus Upasadanam. Upasadanam means approaching, going to a Guru, going and then he is beseeching a Guru. Guru Upasadanadau Abhiyuktaha. Guru Upasadana Adau. Guru Upasadanam and then Shushrusha, all these things. Adi Shabdena, you have to take all those things. Then Abhiyuktaha. Abhiyuktaha means one who is devoted, firm, who is dedicated to that. Abhiyuktaha. Jnanalabdhyupaye means Jnanalabdhyupaye Guru. Here it is the Guru who is the Jnanalabdhi Upaya. The means for obtaining Jnana is the Guru. Jnanalabdhyupaye Shraddhavan. Then Tatparaha api Ajitendriyaha syat. So a man may be dedicated, but still he may not be a Jitendriya. After all, that internal discipline is the prerequisite. That internal discipline may not be there. So for that reason he says Ajitendriyaha syat ityataha Sanyatendriyaha. Sanyatendriyaha means Sanyatani Vishayebhyaha Sanyatani Nivartitani Yasya Indriyani Sa Samyatendriyaha Ya evam bhutaha Shraddhavan Tatparaha Sanyatendriyascha Saha Avasyam Jnanam Labhate. So Sanyatebhyaha means Sanyatendriyaha means Sanyatani Vishayebhyaha Nivartitani Yasya Indriyani. So one whose Indriyas have been withdrawn from these sense objects. Vishayebhya. Vishaya means sense object. So one whose Indriyas have been withdrawn. Withdrawn not forcibly but by Viveka. It is Viveka which has to result in Vairagya. It is not a question of Purana Vairagya or Smashana Vairagya or some momentary Vairagya. That is Purana Vairagya is you listen to some Puranam for some time and then temporarily you feel okay, no, I don't want anything, and then immediately after going home then you will try to have everything. Then similarly some Smashana Vairagya, you go and see some death or you go to some ICU or something like that. When you go to an ICU, you see all the people who are lying, and then momentary Vairagya will come. But then the moment you come out, then you will like to have all nice things. So that not that Vairagya. Vairagya which has come out of Viveka. Viveka means discrimination, a proper discrimination and analysis. So that is the real Vairagya. Then the Vishayebhyaha Nivartitani. That is, all these senses have been withdrawn from the sense objects. So Yasya Indriyani Sa Samyatendriyaha. Ya evam bhutaha Shraddhavan. Evam bhutaha means a person of this type. Evam bhutaha, a person of this type. Shraddhavan Tatparaha Sanyatendriyaha Saha Avasyam Jnanam Labhate. That person, Avasyam means without fail, Jnanam Labhate. He will attain Jnanam. Then Pranipatadistu Bhyaha Anaikantikopi Bhavati Maya Vitvadi Sambhavat Natu Tatha Tat Shraddhavatvadau Ityekantataha Jnanalabdhyupayaha.
Jnanalabdhyupayah.
Fine. So pranipatadistu. Tu means on the other hand. On the other hand, pranipatadihi. Pranipata adi. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipata, Pariprashna, Seva, which we have come across in the earlier shloka, all these things, they are all external. Pranipatadistu bahyaha anaikantikopi bhavati. Anaikantika means, ekantika is without failing. Anaikantika means, it may fail. Anaikantikopi bhavati. Ekantika is ekantena. You see, ena ekantena, that is unfailingly. Here, anaikantikopi bhavati. It can fail also, because it may not be so totally, honest. It is not an honest arrangement there. It can be a hypocritical arrangement there. Anaikantikopi bhavati mayavitvadi sambhavat. Mayavitvam is hypocrisy. Externally you are looking very, very decent, but internally you will be just ridiculing, you will be cursing. So that is called mayavitvam. Mayavitvam, is there any more meaning for this mayavitvam? Mayavitvam anya pradarshana atmanaha mayavitvam. Okay. Manasi anyatha krutva bahi anyatha pradarsanam. Same thing. You have one thing in the mind and then externally you show something else. That is mayavitvam, as Anandagiri says. So mayavitvam is hypocrisy. Mayavitvadi sambhavat natu tatha tat shraddhavatvadau iti ekantatah gnanalabdhyupayah. So when you are having that shraddha, obviously Shraddhavan itself means it negates all other things like hypocrisy. Shraddha means the very fact that you are called a Shraddhavan, it means that you are not a hypocrite. Labhate jnanam tatparatvam is there, sayyatendriyatvam is there. So all these things, they are ekantatah gnanalabdhi upayah. Ekantatah means unfailingly, gnanalabdhi upayah. They are the means, they are the strategy for attaining jnanam. Then किं पुनः ज्ञानलाभात् स्यात् इत्युच्यते ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां मोक्षाख्यां that anuswara is there, isn't it? Mokshakyam anuswara is there or not? Mokshakhya. Is it Mokshakya or Mokshakyam? Yeah, Moksha. My book is that Anuswara is not there. Mokshakhyam Shantim Uparatim Achirena Shiprameva Adhigacchati. Okay. Kim punaha gnanalabhat syat. So a question may arise. Okay, what is the use of this jnanam? Kim punaha gnanalabhat syat. Okay, after you attain gnana, what will happen? So to that question, ityuchyate, so that is being told, jnanam labdhva param mokshakhyam shantim uparatim achirena shiprameva adhigacchati. So achirena, without fail or without any delay, so he gets, a person attains mokshakhyam shantim. Moksha, the shanti, the moksha, which is also a shanti. Or rather, Shanti, which is otherwise called Moksham. Shanti is what? Upashamam. Total withdrawal from all things. Upashama, total, say a bliss in oneself. He is not seeking bliss in external things, but he is happy in himself. So, Atmaratihi, Atmakridaha. We have seen those words earlier. Then, Achirena, without fail. Without any delay. How? So, suppose there is a Rajju Sarpa Bhranti. This Rajju Sarpa Bhranti will be there as long as you do not realize that it is Rajju. As long as you do not realize. So, for a Rajju Sarpa Bhranti, somebody may say, some snake charmer may say, and then he will say, okay, I will do some snake charming. Then somebody will say, I will tell you some mantra, you please do this upasana in order to, so that this snake will run away. All these things will be of no avail. But the moment you know that it is not snake and it is only Rajju, the very moment your fear is gone. The very moment all your, all the associated, all other actions are gone. Your upasana and the snake charmer, all those things, they become irrelevant the moment you know that is Rajju and not Sarpam. Isn't it? So, the very moment you have jnana, the very same moment ajnana is driven away. So, that is why the word is called Achirena. But whereas in what is this Karma Yoga, that Achirena is not possible. Karma Yoga, he has to go through this thinking, contemplation, that process. But here, once the moment you realize that it is the samsara is a mithya. That is ultimately, that is what Shankara, purport of this shloka. When you realize that this samsara is a mithya, that is mithya means not totally unreal. You cannot say whether it is real or unreal. That is what is mithya. You never say that mithya means unreal. That is not what Vedanta says. Mithya only says that the moment you have knowledge of Brahman, this appears unreal. Till that time it is real only. So till that time, because you are cognizing it, all this vyavahara, all this transaction is going on. It is only when you realize Brahman, then it appears unreal. So that is why you are not able to say whether it is real or unreal. Sat chetana badhyeta, asat chetana nivarteta. That is how Vedantins say. Sat chetana badhyeta means, if it were totally, if I have to call it totally real, it will not get negated. If it is really Sat, Sat is something which is always there. Sat means real, existing. If it is really existing, it will not be negated. But on Brahmajnana, it is getting negated. Then asat chet na nivarteta. If it is totally unreal, then it will not that will not appear. It will not sat chet na na badhyeta asat chet na nivarteta. So if it is totally unreal, it will not appear at all. So that is how Vedantins say. Then, so that is why achirena adhigachyati. So this person who has this samyak darshana, he will attain samyak darshana. He will get this mokshakyam shantim. So that bliss he will attain. Then samyak darshanat Shipram mokshaha bhavati iti sarvashastra nyaya prasiddhaha sunishchito arthaha. So samyak darshanat means by this samyak darshana, by proper understanding. Samyak darshana is proper understanding. Shipram means fast, immediately. Achirena, that is mokshaha bhavati. Mokshaha bhavati means release. Moksha, the literal meaning of moksha is release, liberation. You are liberated from all your defined all these delimiting factors. All these delimiting factors that you are having an identity, you are a Brahmana, you are having this duty, that duty, all these delimiting factors, they disappear the moment you realize yourself. Then mokshaha bhavati iti sarva shastra nyaya prasiddhaha sunishchito artha. It is the sum and substance of sunishchitaha artha. That is the sum and substance of sarva shastra nyaya prasiddha. It is also well established prasiddha. It is all well established in all the shastras, and also nyaya. Nyaya means logically. All the scriptures, and also logically it is well established that this samyak darshanam is the only way for this liberation. So that is the meaning here. Then atra samshayaha na kartavyah papishto hi samshayaha katham ityuchyate. So here in this next shloka, next 2-3 shlokas, again the last 3 shlokas, let us say, we are talking again about samshaya. Samshaya, just now we discussed doubt. The samshaya is that doubting Thomas. No, doubt does not mean asking questions with the teacher. When you are in this class, you can certainly ask questions. That is what it says, sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahi. Unless they ask questions, then unless there is an interaction, unless it is a samvada. Samvada is guru and shishya, there is an interaction. So that interaction only produces that tejasvi navadhitamastu. Then tejasvi, whatever we study, let it become tejasvi, let it become powerful. So, but here, samshaya does not mean that. Samshaya is sam plus shaya. Shayanam, what is shayanam? Shayanam is sleeping, correct. Sam plus shaya, samyak shete. Then you are having an opinion and you are fixated in that opinion. You are having an opinion, you are fixated in that opinion. You close your mind, you don't want to look, you don't want to see, you don't want to be open-minded, you don't want to see what the teacher is saying or what the Shastra is saying. You are having some fixation, say, okay, I have some fixation that, okay, Buddhist thought is the supreme. Or I have some fixation that, say, Tarka Shastra is supreme. I have some fixation that Yoga Shastra is supreme. So with that fixation, I don't look into this at all. So that is sort of samshaya. Doubt also is meant in the doubt also, it means also doubt, but samshaya, the literal meaning of samshaya is that is opinionated, not listening, and then closing one's mind, and then that sort of attitude. So atra samshayah na kartavyah. So this sort of behavior, this sort of attitude is not correct. Papishto hi samshayah. Samshaya is something. The person who has that, who is in that state of mind, he is a papistha. Papistha means he is the greatest sinner, let us say. Sinner, he is the most despicable person. He is the most despicable person. Papishto hi samshaya. Katham ityuchyate. Let us read this shloka. Agnyascha shraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanah. So this shloka, these last three shlokas, as I said, they are on samshaya, and samshaya is something which is opposite to shraddha. Shraddha is a willingness to listen. Shraddha is basically there is a willingness also. There is a willingness to listen. There is a willingness to implement as far as we can. So that is what is shraddha. Though there are some impossible situations, even then you want to willingly do, you want to implement as far as possible. In fact, today I was seeing some mail from one Yahoo group. So that mail was regarding Shraddha. Shraddha, Shraddhaya kriyate iti Shraddham. What you do with Shraddha is Shraddham. Shraddham is the annual death ceremony which we do in the case of our elders, the departed elders. So there was some funny write-up in that thing, saying that somebody who is staying in some other country, say, where you do not find some Brahmins, then you invite somebody, some chap, and then you put some, give him some liquor, and then give him some whatever food he wants. You get some mutton, you get all these things, and then whatever he wants you give. That is Shraddha. That is not Shraddha. You are not supposed to ridicule our Shastra. We are not supposed to ridicule our Shastra by inviting some people and then giving them some mutton and chicken and opening some cans of beer and whatnot. That is not what Shastra contemplates. Shastra contemplates that the person has to think of his forefathers. He has to think of those people, the type of heritage, the intellectual heritage they have given to us, and then think of that intellectual heritage and try to preserve that intellectual heritage. So that is what is meant. And then not giving some chicken and mutton and some opening some beer and whatnot. So that is a very funny thing. In fact, this is what we are coming to. Shraddha, somebody says, okay, why can't I offer some pizza to the god? So that is not what is Shraddha. Shraddha is you have to physically strain yourself and do something, and you offer something. You physically strain for 5 minutes, and then you prepare something, cook something, and then offer something. And then if you are not in a position to offer some Shraddham, at least you go to a temple, or then you sit quietly and then call somebody, some pious man, give him some donation and meditate for some time. So do some small penance. So that is what is, at least in whatever are the conditions. So that is to some extent some little Shraddha. So but here this particular shloka is opposite of Shraddha, that is Samshaya, Samshayatma. Ajñascha ashraddhadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. He is talking, this shloka is talking about 3 types, 3 grades of people, let us say, 3 gradations, let us say. Ajñaha, Ajñaha means na plus Jnaha, Ajñaha, that is one who is an ignorant person. Then ashraddhadhanaha, Shraddadhanaha, that is Shraddadhana we have come across earlier also. Shraddha is something, Shrat means truth. Shraddadhanaha, one who is dedicated to truth, that is Shraddadhanaha. That is the literal meaning. But here, Shraddadhana, the meaning here is one who is having Shraddha. Shraddadhanaha. Then Samshayat, Ashraddadhanaha. We are not talking about Shraddadhanaha, we are talking about Ashraddadhanaha, one who is not having Shraddha. Then Samshayatma. This Samshayatma, what is this Samshayatma? One who is doubting, whether what this guru is saying is correct or not. Is it the only path? Is there no other alternative path? So that sort of thing. He is still not clear in his mind about what is the right path. So only after deciding all those things, only after doing proper viveka, and only after understanding the limitations of all other shastras, one has to come here. So if he does not understand the limitation of all shastras and if he comes here, he will be a samshayatma. One has to understand what is the limitation of a particular shastra, say what is the limitation of science, what is the limitation of some other subject, and then only he has to come to this. If he does not realize that, and then if he feels that that is supreme, this is also supreme, then what else somebody else says is also supreme, what Freud also says is supreme, what somebody else says is also supreme, then that man is a samshayatma. Then samshayatma vinashyati. Vinashyati means he fails in his goal, not that he perishes or he becomes ashes or something like that. He fails in his goal. He is not attaining his goal. That man, he is not going to attain his goal. Na ayam lokaha asti na paraha na sukham samshayatmanaha. Samshayatmanaha means for one who is a samshayatma. For that is a shashti vibhakti, shashti ekavachanam. For one who is a samshayatma, na ayam lokaha asti. He is not happy in this world also. Because every day he will be suspecting his wife, his children, and then he will be suspecting everything. Even if he wears some good clothes again, he will be having a doubt whether that will give him happiness or not. So, na ayam lokaha asti, na paraha. Na paraha means there he is not successful here, nor in the other world. He is not going to get other world also. Na sukham. He is not going to get sukham anywhere in any of these either transactions of this world or relating to the other world. Na sukham samshayatmanaha. So the words are simple here. Ajñascha, ashraddhadhanascha, samshayatma vinashyati, na ayam lokaha asti, na paraha, na sukham samshayatmanaha. Let us read this bhashyam. Then, ajñascha, anatmagyaha, ashraddhadhanascha, samshayatma cha vinashyati. So these three things, cha means and. Ajñascha, that is ignorant person. Anatmagyaha, that is one who has no theoretical understanding of Atma also. Anatmagyaha means we are not talking about a jnani. If he is a jnani, again there is no question of seeking jnani. So theoretical understanding. Anatmagyaha. Then ashraddhadhanaha, one who is not having shraddha. Then who is a samshayatma, one who is always doubtful about the path which he has taken. Then these three people, this man, vinashyati. So they do perish. Then ajña ashraddhadhanau, ajñashraddhadhanau yadyapi vinashyatah tathapi na tatha yatha samshayatma. Okay, this ajña and ashraddhadhana, ajña plus ashraddhadhana becomes ajñashraddhadhanau. That is dvivachanam. Ajña ashraddhadhanau, ajñashraddhadhanau. That is ajña and also ashraddhadhanau. One who is an ignorant man and also one who is not having adequate shraddha. These two people, yadyapi vinashyatah, though they also perish, though they also fail in their objective, tathapi na tatha yatha samshayatma. Even then, they don't fall as badly as this samshayatma. This samshayatma is the worst fellow. He will fall in a very bad manner. He will fall and break all his bones, whereas these people come out with some bruises. So that is just for understanding. So this fellow will fall, samshayatma will fall and break all his bones, whereas these people come out with some small bruises. So that is it. Yadyapi vinashyatah, though these people they also fail, na tatha yatha samshayatma. They don't fail as badly as this samshayatma, because samshayatma tu papishtaha sarvesham katham na ayam sadharanopi lokaha asti tatha na paro lokaha na sukham tatrapi samshayotpattehe. Okay. Samshayatma tu papishtaha. Papishta means one who is the greatest sinner, one who is the most despicable person, of all the people. Sarvesham means of all the people. Then katham, how? Na ayam sadharanaha lokaha asti. So for this ajna and ashraddhadhana, an ignorant man, he is performing some yajna, so he will get some result. Ashraddhadhana, a person who is not having shraddha, he will get some result. If not 100% result, he will get some 30% result or 40% result. Whereas this man, he will get a total zero. Na ayam sadharanaha lokaha, sadharanopi lokaha asti. Na ayam lokaha, even this world is not attainable by him, because he is a samshayatma. He is always worried, he is always doubtful about the path which he is taking. So for him, this sadharanaha lokaha api nasti. Even this world is not there. Tatha na parolokaha. Parolokaha is possible only when he does some yajna with some amount of shraddha. Not like that Kathopanishad man. Kathopanishad he was giving some old, decrepit old cows. Not like that. So when you do yajna, you have to do some dhanam with some amount of sincerity. They say shraddhaya deyam, ashraddhaya deyam, ashraddhaya adeyam, hriya deyam, shriya deyam. There are so many ways, or there are so many conditions. When you give a dhanam, you have to give with some amount of humility. Some amount of humility, you should not give it with arrogance, you should not throw it with arrogance. So all these things are there. So tatha na parolokaha. Paroloka, parahalokaha is possible only when you do all those things with some amount of shraddha. So with this fellow is not having such a shraddha, samshayatma, then na sukham, tatrapi samshayotpattehe, na sukham. Even in very ordinary things, he will not derive any sukham, because samshayotpattehe. Suppose I take some coffee, is it good for health or not? Will it, this caffeine and whatnot, all these things, are they going to cause harm in me? So for every small thing I keep on doubting. For every small thing I keep on suspecting whether something is good or bad, something is proper or improper. So not proper or improper, something is the right path or wrong path. So that way, that sort of samshaya is there. Then samshayatmanaha samshaya chittasya tasmat samshayo na kartavyah. So here this is one statement which we have to see. We have to see that samshaya is something which we have to avoid, because as I said, samshaya, the mind is the thing which is observing external world, but this mind is the thing which is the observed, which is the observer and the observed, drashta and drishyam. Observer, mind is the observer with respect to all external things, but mind is not the observer with respect to Atma. Mind is the observed. That is why manayeva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayoh. We have seen another statement also earlier also I told once or twice. The mind itself is the only tool which we have. Mind is the only tool we have. Karanam bandha mokshayoho. Bandha for bondage, you see the external world and then interact with that. That is the result, that is going to lead to bondage. Then moksha, liberation. You have to, once you look at that mind as something as a drushyam, once you transcend that mind, then that is what is moksha. You transcend that mind and then you look at that mind and then identify yourself with a higher thing, then that is what is called moksha. So that is why manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. You have to suspend that mind. So that is what we have to remember in these 2-3 shlokas. Tasmat samshayah na kartavyah. Kasmat. Then he says yogeti. Let us read this shloka. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani Nibadhanti Dhananjaya. So he says, he is again saying two things here. Say Yoga Sanyasta Karma. Yoga Sanyasta Karma is one word. Yogena Sanyastaha Karmani Yaha Sa Karma Yoga Sanyasta Karma. Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam is Dvitiya Ekavachanam. Yoga Sanyasta Karma means one who has renounced actions by this yoga. Yoga, it may be karma yoga. Karma yoga, what is this karma yoga? He is doing his duty as an offering to the Lord. He is doing his duty as an offering to the Samashti. He is doing it as part of his duty to the Samashti. He is not seeking the fruit of that action. So that is what is yoga sannyasta karma. So that is a type of sannyasa. That is again we are going to see. So yoga sannyasta karmanam. So he is performing his action, but then he is not seeking the fruit of that action. He is doing it for the sake of that social good, for the samashti, and as an order from the Lord. So in fact that is what Madhusudanacharya says, yogena bhagavad aradhana lakshana samatva buddhi rupena sanyastani bhagavati samarpitani karmani. So he says bhagavad aradhana lakshana samatva buddhi rupena. So he is doing it as an offering to the Lord, as a service to the Lord, as an order from the Lord. Bhagavati samarpitani karmani. So he is offering all his karmas in the Lord. So yoga sannyasta karma is one. Then jnana sanchinna samshayaha. Jnana sanchinna samshayaha means he is in the next level. The first portion talked about yoga sannyasta karma, he is a karma yogi. The next one is he is in a jnana nishta. Jnana sanchinna samshayaha. Jnana sanchinna samshayam is dvitiya vibhakti. Dvitiya ekvachana. Ramam Ramo Raman. Ramaha Ramo Ramaha. Ramam Ramo Raman. So you remember that. Yoga sannyasta karma is the first word. Jnana sanchinna samshayaha is the second word. So jnana sanchinna samshayam is dvitiya. Jnana sanchinna samshaya means what? One whose samshaya has been destroyed, has been chopped off. Sanchinna. Chedanam means cutting it with a sword. Cutting with a sword, all that the samshaya, all that thing has been cut off. It has been cut off by jnanam, by the jnana asina. Asi means a sword. So he is the second one. Then atmavantam, one who is alert. In both these things, both a karma yogi and also jnana yogi, they should be quite alert. Alert in what sense? Atmavantam. Atmavan is the word. Atmavantam is dvitiya. Atmavan is word. Atmavantam dvitiya. That is, Atmavan means one who is having Atma is Atmavan. Atma means here, Shankaracharya says it is, what is that term? Apramattaha or something he says. Atmavan karmanena paramarthadasya. Yeah, apramattaha. Atmavan apramattaha. Apramatta is what? One who is never in alert. Pramatta means pramadam. One who pramada is in alertness. Apramatta is one who is very alert. One who is never in alert. So atmavantam na karmani nibadhananti Dhananjaya. Hey Dhananjaya, karmani na nibadhananti. Such a person is not bound by these karmas. Karmas will not bind such a man. So that is what he says. Hey Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is the address. Dhananjaya is Arjuna. He was called Dhananjaya because he is said to have attained a lot of dhanam. He once went out and then conquered so many people and then he brought some dhanam. So that is why he is called Dhananjaya. But here of course you can also say for Brahmagyanam you need Shraddha Vittam. Shraddha Vittam. I have told about that Shraddha Vitta Samanvitaha I told in the last one of those last classes. Shraddha itself is the dhanam. So you are having adequate Shraddha. In other words, Lord Krishna is slightly giving a pat on his back saying that you are Shraddha Vitta Samanvitaha. You are having that Shraddha Vittam. You are a Dhananjaya. So he is patting him, we can take like that also. So the words are, so you have to clearly see these phrases. Yoga Sanyasta Karma. Yogena, the entire thing is a word. Jnana Sanchinna Samshaya, the entire thing is a word. Atmavantam na karmani nibadhananti Dhananjaya. Let us read the bhashyam. Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam. Paramartha Darshana Lakshanena Yogena. Sanyastani Karmani Yena. Sanyastani Karmani. Yena Paramartha Darshina. Dharma Dharmakhyani. Tam Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam. Okay, Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam. He says, what is this yoga? Paramartha Darshana Lakshanena Yogena. So this yoga is Paramartha Darshana Lakshanam. So in fact, one comment also says, this Karmanya Karma Darshana Sanyastani. One comment says like that. Madhusudana Saraswati talks about Karma Yoga. Madhusudana Saraswati includes Karma Yoga also. Then Shankaracharya is say commenting in the sense that it is Jnana Yoga. Yoga, he says, Paramartha Darshana Lakshanena Yogena. That is Paramartha Darshana Lakshanam. He is able to see this supreme goal, that supreme reality. Paramartha Darshanam, he is able to see. With that sense, Sanyastani Karmani Yena. Sanyastani Karmani Yena Paramartha Darshina Dharma Dharmakhyani. So all this dharma and adharma all have been abandoned. So this first word, Yoga Sanyasta Karma, is taken, is applicable both for a Karma Yogi and also for a Jnani, for Jnananishta, somebody who is in that Jnananishta. So Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam Paramartha Darshana Lakshanena, he is able to see that supreme goal, supreme reality, and with that he is giving up both the dharma and adharma, both good and bad deeds. One who rises, a Jnani, he goes above good and evil. That's what we have seen in our earlier class. That is, that does not mean that he can do anything and get away. It only means that he will never do anything bad. He is so trained, he is so disciplined in this path of karma, that is, he has got this chitta shuddhi, his mind, all his activities are purified. He will never do any, say, unlawful action. He will never do any adharma. So dharma dharmakhyani karmani, he has gone above. Tam yoga sanyasta karmanam. Then katham yoga sanyasta karma ityaha jnanena atmeshwaraikatva darshana lakshanena atmeshwaraikatva darshana lakshanena samchinnaha samshayaha yasya sa jnana sanchinna samshayaha. So how katham yoga sanyasta karma, how is he yoga sanyasta karma ityaha, he is saying jnanena. What is that jnana? Atma Ishvara Ekatva Darshana Lakshanena. Atma Ishvara Ekatva Darshana Lakshanena. This Atma is nothing but Ishvara. Then Ishvara is Maya Vachinnam Chaitanyam Ishvaraha. This Atma is Antahkarana Vachinnam Chaitanyam Jivaha. This Jiva, who is nothing but this limited consciousness looking as though limited in this Antahkarana. Then Ishvara is Maya Avachinnam Chaitanyam, that consciousness which is looking as though delimited by that Maya. So that Avachinna is called Ishvara. So Mahatma Ishvara Ekatva Darshana Lakshanena. This man is seeing himself as that, the same as that. Then Ishvara Lakshanena Samchinnayaha Samchinnaha Samshayaha Yasya Saha Jnana Samchinna Samshaya. By that Jnana, his doubt, his all this say foolhardy behavior, let us say, all his opinionated behavior, or then he was sticking to his own say ideas, his own say whatever idea he was having, he was just sticking to that. That is called sam plus shayaha samshayaha, just sticking on to one point. So he has come out of that. All that thing has been totally thrashed out. Jnana sanchinna samshayaha ya evam yoga sanyasta karma tam atmavantam apramattam gunacheshta rupena drushtani karmani na nibadhranti anishtadi rupam phalam na arabhante he dhananjaya. So ya evam yoga sanyasta karma. So one who is of this type, one who is a yoga sanyasta karma. Shankaracharya actually is interpreting both the words to refer to one type of person only. That is, yoga sanyasta karma is the same as jnana sanchinna samshaya, whereas Madhusudana Saraswati is giving an option that this yoga sanyasta karma can also be a karma yogi. But whereas Shankaracharya says yoga sanyasta karma is also Paramatma darshana lakshanena yogena. So he is equating both the people. Then yoga sanyasta karma tam atmavantam apramattam. Apramatta. He is explaining that word apramatta. Pramatta means pramadaha anavadhanata. Pramado anavadhanata. That is, inattentiveness is pramada. One who is prone to that pramada is, one who is in that pramada, state of pramada is pramattaha. Pramattaha. Apramattaha means one who is not inattentive. That means one who is very, very alert. Alert in what sense? Guna chesta rupena dushtani karmani. So all his activities he is seeing as guna chesta rupena. Guna guneshu vartante. We have seen an earlier shloka. That is, a human being or anything else in the cosmos, in the whole, all things which are in the cosmos, they are all products of these three gunas only. Products of these three gunas only, sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. Then my body, all the body, the whole human body is a constitution, is a product of these three gunas only. And then these three gunas are seeking out objects which are again products of these three gunas only. So that means gunaha guneshu vartante. So I am seeking some food. That food is again a product of sattva, rajas, tamo guna. I am seeking some other thing. That thing also is a product of sattva, rajas, tamo guna. So this my body, which is a product of this sattva, rajas, tamo guna, it is again seeking out things which are again of the same nature. So that is gunaha guneshu vartante. Guna chesta rupena dushtani. These are all guna chesta. Chesta means just activity. Guna chesta. This is not me. Say the point is, I am not the doer, it is the guna which are the doers. So it does not mean that, okay, I am not the doer, let me indulge in all, let me go to say some prohibited place. Not like that. When I think like that, then I am very much having that feeling of I. So when the man loses the feeling, that identity, that I, and then that man, he looks at all these things as guna cheshtaha. Guna cheshtaha means guna guneshu vartante. So he is in that state of mind. So that man is an apramatta. He is always alert. He is always alert that his indriyas are never dragged. They never drag him away. Indriyas are like horses. They drag a man away. So this man is always alert and sees that his indriyas do not drag him away. So that is it. Even a jnani, we have also seen in an earlier shloka, even jnani has to be very, very careful about these indriyas. So that is it. Karmani na nibadhananti anishtadi rupam phalam na arabhante he dhananjaya. Oh, hey Arjuna, then these karmas, they don't bind him. That means they do not give this anishtadi rupam phalam. They will not give him this phalam. Anishtam. Anishtam means what? Something which is undesirable. What is that undesirable thing? The next rebirth, or rebirth either in a good form or a bad form, whatever it is, even if it is a good rebirth, it is something which is undesirable for a jnani, for a person who is in the jnana path. Then yasmat karma yoga anushthanat ashuddhi kshaya hetuka jnana sanchinna samshayah na nibadhyate karmabhihi jnanagnidagdha karmatvadeva yasmacha jnanakarmanusthana vishaye samshayavan vinashyati tasmat iti. So this is the avatarika for the last shloka. Tasmad ajnana sambhutam hrutsam jnanasinatmanah. That is the last shloka. For that last shloka, this is the avatarika. Yasmat karma yoga anushthanad ashuddhi kshaya hetu jnana sanchinna samshayah. Very long phrase. So the word, the noun here is jnana sanchinna samshayah is the noun. Okay, jnana sanchinna samshayah is the noun. That word noun we have seen here. Jnana sanchinna samshayah means one whose all that say foolhardiness has been destroyed by jnana. One whose samshaya has been destroyed by the jnana. That is jnana, that is the word here. But there is a description for that. Karma yoga anushthanat ashuddhi kshaya hetuka. So here Shankaracharya again here, he is giving that option. Karma yoga anushthanat ashuddhi kshaya hetuka. So karma yoga anusthana has been done by this man. And then because of this karma yoga anusthana, that is performance of this karma yoga, ashuddhi kshaya. That ashuddhi is what? All this karma phalam, receiving this karma phalam is ashuddhi. That karma phala, when karma phalam is not there, ashuddhi kshaya. All that karma phalam has been nullified. Kshaya means nullified, totally is made zero. That ashuddhi kshaya hetuka jnana sanchinna samshaya. Hetu means that is the cause for this jnana. So which means he has come through the path of karma yoga. He has come through the path of karma yoga. He has got over that ashuddhi, and then that is the hetuka jnana sanchirna samshaya. Hetuka means that which has been caused by this purified karma process of karma yoga. So he has undergone this karma yoga, which has again resulted in karmakshaya, that ashuddhikshaya, and ashuddhikshaya is the hetu for this jnana, and by that jnana this chinna samshaya, all this samshaya has been destroyed. So a very long phrase. Na nibadhyante karmabhihi. Then he is the one who will not be tied down, he will not be say bound by this karma. He will not be bound means those karmas will not give fruit, they will not give rebirth. Then jnanagni dagdha karmatvat. That jnanagni dagdha karmani also we have seen earlier. Karmas are all destroyed. That is nirbiji karoti, we have seen it in an earlier class. That is they are as though they are like roasted seeds. They are just like roasted seeds, and then they will not sprout again. Whatever be the say condition, they will not sprout again. Then karmatva deva. Then yasmat cha. Then this last shloka, this last shloka is reading like tasmad ajnana sambhutam. Tasmat, therefore. When he says therefore, then the question comes wherefore, why? When you say therefore, the question is why. So for that why, Shankaracharya is giving this avatarika. So in this avatarika, he first said, he first told about jnana samshirna samshaya. Yasmat cha, again another reason he is giving, yasmat cha, jnana karmanusthana vishaye samshayavan vinashyati. Jnana karmanusthana vishaye samshayavan. The one who is doubtful either about the jnana path, jnana karmanusthana vishaye. These two things are separate here. Jnana vishaye, karmanusthana vishaye cha. Jnana vishaye, karmanusthana vishaye. That is, he is skeptical about both karmanusthana and also jnana path. So one who is skeptical about these things, samshayavan vinashyati, he perishes. So tasmat, therefore. So that is how this shloka starts. Is the time over? Oh, if it's over, we will continue in the next class. So in the next class probably we will also sum up this fourth chapter also. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.